Breaking news for you from Ethiopia, where Tigray and Amhara regions are locked in a dispute over territories. The two have conflicting claims to Raya and Volkayat. Tigray calls Raya southern Tigray, Amhara calls it Raya. Volkayat is western Tigray for Tigray, but for Amhara it is Volkayat. A solution has been proposed by the Amhara region of Ethiopia to resolve this issue, to break the deadlock existing over the future status of Volkayat and Raya, southern and western zones. What is this solution? Will it be accepted by Tigray interim government? Will it be accepted by other players too? There are not just two players to this dispute. Some other players are too. Where is Ethiopian federal government? Is it behind this proposal shared by Amhara regional government spokesperson today? Firstly, what did the spokesperson say? Let's have a look at that. Then we'll have a look at some recent developments. Then in the end, we'll try to sum up. Gezacho Molane is Amhara regional government spokesperson. Today he held a press briefing. He briefed journalists, briefed about government's performance, budget, and about efforts to resolve disputes. He said, preparations are underway to resolve disputes about identity and border existing for the last 30 years. Preparations are underway for holding of a referendum to resolve these issues of border and identity. He did not name Tigray. He did not use the word Volkayat, Amhara, Sagade. He did not use the word Raya. That is what I have been able to see. I could not find these words used by Gezacho Molone. Maybe in other part of his talk he used these words. But I could not see use of these words, Amhara, Volkayat, Sagade, Raya, Tigray by Gezacho Molone. He shared a general solution to territorial dispute with Tigray. Since he did not mention any area, that is why we can say that the solution is about all the disputed territories. This is Amhara region's proposal. What has been Amhara region's stance about Volkayat and Raya? About the stance about Volkayat has been non-negotiable. Volkayat is Amhara, Volkayat is non-negotiable. That is what we have been hearing for the last 2 years. Since this area, Western Tigray, Amhara, Volkayat, they came under the control of Amhara forces. When the war broke out in November 2020, in the first month of the war, this area came under Amhara control. And one of the reasons behind the participation of Amhara forces in the war to support Ethiopian National Defense Force against Tigray fighters was that reportedly PM Abiy's government had promised that Volkayat would be part of the Amhara region, Raya too. That is why Amhara forces became part of this war from day one. Other regional forces joined later. Only Afar Amhara forces, they joined when the war broke out from day one. And Amhara forces entered Volkayat, if you remember, in November 2020. They were hoping that by seizing these areas by force, these areas will become part of Amhara. But we saw that entire Tigray could not come under ENDF control, Amhara control. Ethiopian National Defense Force, Eritrean forces, Amhara forces, they withdrew from Tigray in June 2021, but they did not withdraw from Volkayt, Raya too. Tigray forces tried to take back Volkayt. They launched several attacks, they could not. They managed to take back Raya, southern Tigray, Koram-Elamata. But even that zone was lost by them in the third round of fighting. So, since November 2020, Volkayt has been under Amhara control. And since September 2022, in the third round of fighting, Raya has been under the control of Amhara forces. The position of Amhara region about Volkayt, non-negotiable. We have been hearing for the last 2 years. About Raya, they were showing flexibility. Amhara region's leaders, they were showing flexibility. They were ready to some extent to hold a referendum there, because a few days ago, if you remember, Hailu Abira Elamata Mayor confirmed that Raya zone districts had submitted a petition to House of Federation, petition with more than 100,000 signatures. The petition asked House of Federation to hold a referendum in Raya, southern zone, Koram-Elamata, etc., to decide the future status of this zone. The petition is pending with House of Federation, led by an Amhara speaker, again Utishagar. But we never heard from the Amhara region that it agreed to holding a referendum in Volkayt. Volkayt was non-negotiable for the Amhara region a few months ago, but today's statement indicates if Gizacho Mulune's words apply to both disputed territories, though he did not name territories, if he was proposing a referendum in both Volkayt and Raya, it means that Amhara regional government has changed its position. It has realized that it cannot hold on to Volkayt. So it will have to agree to some sort of solution. The solution proposed is holding a referendum in both zones, Raya, Volkayt. Question is, will this solution be accepted by Tigray? What about other players? Colonel Demekizadu, in charge of head of Volkayt Identity Restoration Committee, who has been fighting for decades to make Volkayt part of Amhara, a few weeks ago opposed the idea of holding a referendum in Volkayt. He said, no, referendum is not a solution. This area is part of Amhara. It needs just an order, a directive from the government that this area is part of Amhara. It's non-negotiable. That is what Demekizadu said. And he is the one who is in charge in Volkayt, militias under him too. And he has some links with Eritreans too, reportedly. Will he accept the idea of referendum? Well, he will accept the idea of referendum if IDPs don't return. Tigrayans have been expelled from Volkayt, we know that. Tens of thousands have been expelled. In the 2-year-long war, Tigrayans were systematically expelled from Volkayt to Sagade. Why? Because back then, some people knew that there could be a referendum in this area in future. That is why they tried to clear the zone. Tigrayans were expelled. Ethnic cleansing was committed according to US State Department. Now it seems that there could be Amhara majority in Volkayt. I'm not sure about Raya, but in Volkayt, there could be Amhara majority. Amharas could be majority. Why? Because Tigrayans expelled, killed, detained, In some cases, they were forced to leave the country, and they're in Sudan. Tigray wants a return of these IDPs who are now in Shire, etc. Tens of thousands. And Tigray has been demanding their return. We've seen rallies in Tigray by these IDPs who said that they wanted to return to their homes. We've seen statements from Tigray interim government, statements from US State Department, etc. All want these Tigrayans to return to their homes in Volkayth. Damak Zadu opposing the return. He says these are not original residents of the area. There are criminal elements, and these people, if returned, they would destabilize the zone. So he's been opposing the return of IDPs. If IDPs are not allowed to return in Volkayth, referendum is held, obviously Amhara majority will win the referendum. If IDPs are allowed to return to their homes in Volkayth, all IDPs, Tigrayans then will win majority, and Tigray will win the referendum. In Raya, I think there could be close contest. Tigray is silent. So far, no statement from Tigray interim government. Does it agree with this proposal of the Amhara region? Because we know that some talks have been held. If you remember, a few days ago, I shared with you a new story that Tigray and Amhara leaders had held some meetings. PM Abiy tried to bring them closer. Tigray, Amhara leaders held some meetings, discussions were held about Raya Volkayth, about return of IDPs. No solution could be reached back then. Before that, we saw that Amhara president visited Tigray. Then a few days ago, Geta Choreda reciprocated. They visited Amhara region. PM Abiy spoke yesterday at the parliament and he proposed a solution. He mentioned referendum, I think, as well in his talk. He said, if today one group takes a zone by force, next day the other group will take it back. This cycle will continue. Only solution to disputes is sustainable peace, lasting peace that can only come through dialogue, through talks, through negotiation, through referendums. He said we have resolved issues in other parts of Ethiopia. We can resolve the issues between Tigray and Amhara too. So he proposed the idea of referendum, though we know that this talk of referendum has been ongoing for some time. It's not something new. Now let's wait for Tigray's response. Is Tigray going to agree with this solution or not? Tigray will never agree to this solution, especially if IDPs are not allowed to return to Volkayth. I think Tigray will only agree to the solution if IDPs are allowed to return. Even after that, I'm not sure. But in the current situation, Tigray will not agree to the idea of holding a referendum. It would like all IDPs to return to their homes. Then Tigray might agree with the idea of referendum. Tigray has been demanding that its pre-war borders should be restored. We've seen several statements in the past few months by Tigray leaders. They said that Tigray's constitutional borders must be restored. Now, ball is in the court of Tigray. What will Tigray do? Amhara region has changed its position. It has backed down. It is showing flexibility. Why? Because it is becoming increasingly difficult for Amhara region to remain in control of Volkayth. Pressure is there on the Amhara regional leadership from Ethiopian federal government. Oromo leadership has joined Tigray leadership too. Amhara PP leadership is not in a position to resist this joint alliance of Oromo and Tigray leadership. That is why Amhara region is now proposing a solution. Tigray wants a solution, though Tigray never spoke about the idea of holding a referendum. We never heard from Tigray interim government about referendums. Now, when Amhara region has floated a solution to break this deadlock, ultimately the final decision will be made after Tigray's response. Let's see what Tigray says. But the way Amhara region has changed its position, has withdrawn from its position, it seems that we could see some progress towards a solution. Let's see what Demeke Zadu says. Will he speak in coming hours? Let's monitor the statements of Demeke Zadu and Tigray interim government. If they spoke, we'll try to update you. Thank you for watching.